Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand, stars burn the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. It's been 2 weeks since I've done a live stream. I've been traveling the world doing all kinds of stuff. Man's got to eat. So if you're new here and you enjoy this content, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. And so that maybe someday I can get to doing this full time. But I appreciate you guys joining me. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. And I'm going to start by talking about, by the way, hit me up in the comments. I know that a lot of folks will do that. Be sure to be engaged in the comment section tonight. We're going to talk about the loss that was suffered in New York, having Mom Donnie win the election, and the cheer that people are like the right, this new version of the right, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. They were whooping and hollering about it. And here's Scott Pressler, by the way. He posted this back in August where he called it. He said, this is going to happen. Republicans are going to lose everything this November. And it turns out he's some version of an oracle, I guess. I mean, this is a guy that does it all the time. He knew that we were going to do it. I'm sure that he was seeing the divide, the split, the schisms that are being formed inside of the Republican Party, inside of the MAGA movement. And look, people are, again, the right, this new version of the right is whooping and hollering about it. Let's play some Nick Fuentes. By the way, you guys know that I am generally PG-13. It's not going to be that case tonight. So if the kids are going to be around, I'm playing Nick Fuentes. I'm playing some other people. It is not going to be. It's not going to be my language, but it's going to be theirs. So I'll just go ahead and give that disclaimer. This is their celebration. I'm going to play him and some of his groypers that were interviewed on the street. Check this out.
DC creatures, these consultants, these think tank nerds, these fucking dorks and losers, these out-of-touch theater kids and student council presidents, these fucking punks, they are miserable. There's a sense of dread. It has captured them because they know that MAGA is dead. It's dead. It has failed. It is a disappointment. The mass deportations, they're not happening. America First foreign policy, they forgot all about it. Approval ratings in the toilet. Epstein files covered up. Blue wave just happened. But the groypers are jubilant. The groypers are triumphant because the groypers are winning.
Okay, so when Mom Donnie wins, the groypers win. That's what we can kind of pull from that. This is basically what he's saying, that, oh, Donald Trump, he hasn't done enough in his, not even a year, since he's taken office, since he took the oath. Not even a year, he's not doing enough, he's not doing enough. And you hear this from a lot of folks. I've had my own critiques. In his defense, I guess, I've had my own critiques that things aren't happening the way we want them to happen. But I have learned to exercise some level of patience as this man undoes what the deep state has been doing for decades. Decades. I've played it several times on this show. General Eisenhower told us in 1961 in his farewell address that one of his biggest concerns was a scientific and technological elite and a military-industrial complex that was going to essentially take over our federal government, take over this country, and start guiding and directing things this way and that. And Donald Trump is seeking to undo that. But this is him now. This is Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and Ian Carroll and Tucker Carlson and who pick your poison. All those people are saying that now, but this started months ago. months ago, before he was even 6 months into office, they turned on him. Marjorie Taylor Greene is another one we're going to talk about tonight. They turned on him, but here's the kicker. All of these people rode to prominence on Donald Trump's coattails. So it's political opportunism at its finest. And this guy is, aside from being an utterly despicable individual, which we're going to get into, him praising Hitler and all that stuff, all the controversy around that, other than being a despicable individual, yeah, he says, oh, I bought into the MAGA movement. It hasn't moved quick enough, so now I'm the new MAGA. That's what he's saying. And that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, that she's the new MAGA. Candace Owens says she's the new MAGA. All these figures that have divided the Republican Party that are now celebrating the loss in New York. Oh, that was the wrong clip. Let me pull up the one of Nick Fuentes' guy, Sneeko, I think is his name. He was being interviewed as part of the, I guess, the victory celebration going on in New York. And these are Groypers. That's what they call themselves, by the way. If you don't know, the Groypers are the ones that support Nick Fuentes.
Hey, yo, you ballsy with that fucking hat, nigga. Wait, yo.
I love your
This guy's fucking ballsy. Wait, what's your name, bro?
Armando.
Yeah. Are you Mexican?
I'm descendant, yeah.
You're a Mexican Groyper, bro.
Just like Nick Fuentes.
Yo, you're gonna make this shit hot, bro. Get the fuck away from me, nigga.
This is how they celebrate, right? Mamdani wins, the socialist, Islamist wins, and these America First people are whooping and hollering in the streets. They're happy. This is, and Candace Owens, by the way, which we're going to get to in a minute as well, is saying, well, this is just people fighting back against Zionism. It's because of Zionism that the Islamist, extremist, communist won in New York. Not that we've had everybody focused on the conspiracy theories of Candace Owens and the conspiracy theories of Nick Fuentes and the conspiracy theories of Marjorie Taylor Greene and the conspiracy theories of Ian Carroll. It wasn't any of that. That the entire algorithm was pushing that nonsense. No, it's because of Zionism. It's because of Donald Trump and the $3.8 billion, 75% of which is spent back here in the U.S. So the $900 million that we sent to Israel, that's really what it is. And it's the Jews who control everything. The media that made Candace Owens now the #1 podcast in the world, that have pushed consistently the anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian messaging, you know, all that Jewish media that they like to talk about. And I say this as somebody who has plenty of critiques of Israel. But this is what they've all circled around. It's mind-numbing. And then you get the people with millions and millions of followers who come to the defense of people like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. And this is all surrounding the Tucker Carlson interview with Nick Fuentes. And this is somebody that I like, by the way. I like Brett Cooper. I think she seems like a decent person. I get it. She had some witchcraft stuff that came up, her mom going to talk to mediums and all those things. But all that aside, I think her intentions are genuine. I just think she doesn't know what she's talking about in this particular instance.
By your ridiculous, insane hatred of Tucker Carlson that you cannot see how irresponsible and hypocritical you are being. I mean, these tweets from Ted Cruz, I'm going to read you next, are a great example of this. So just a month ago, he tweeted this. He said, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Political violence is a left-wing phenomenon. Enough is enough. We need to shut it down." And then in response to Fuentes and Tucker this week, he tweeted this: "Trump's bombing of the Ayatollah's nuclear facilities made the little Nazi mad. Good." So now you're turning around and you're
And in that instance, obviously, if you didn't see it, she was talking about Nick
calling
Fuentes.
somebody that you don't like a Nazi. You're doing this out of blind rage because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention, and so you have turned around and in response, you are compromising your own values in anger, which is such a dangerous precedent to set.
Okay. If only what Ted Cruz had said hadn't been true, maybe you could make that case. Nick Fuentes is a self-avowed Nazi. I could show you the video. There's 8 minutes of it. I'm not going to play all 8 minutes. It is absolutely riddled with profanities, but we're going to watch it anyway, because here's Nick Fuentes, 8 minutes of which, of him praising Adolf Hitler. And I'm going to try to skip through at least the first part of it. So here we go. Let's play this. Oh boy, I hope that the X player lets me skip over some of the really heinous stuff.
Friday, it is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday.
And then, of course, you can get that one. Let's skip forward. And here's some more. Look, I can't get past the profanity. This Christian guy, which is what he calls himself or purports to be, This is how he responds to Hitler. Obviously, you can see all of that. Here we go.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool. And any boy knows that. Anybody that watches these videos where he's rolling down the street and stuff, it's like, this guy's awesome. This guy's cool.
Just American general?
Hitler. Oh, American.
Sent $10.
Look, it's 8 minutes of this. The guy loves him. In his Tucker Carlson interview, he talks about how he loves Stalin's birthday. And the beef people had with the Tucker Carlson interview is not that he spoke to him. I think it's perfectly fine if he wants to sit down and talk to Nick Fuentes. But our expectation is that he pushes back on Nick Fuentes the same way that he does Ted Cruz. The problem was not that Tucker Carlson agrees with him, but the political opportunism that went into that interview to get that guy, by the way, who is one of the biggest voices of new MAGA on the right, the opportunity to get some clicks and some traction was far too high I think, this is my speculation, for him to generate additional viewership, you know, whatever it happened to be, that, you know, there was no real reason for him to push back on Nick Fuentes. And so this is, let me see if I can find the clip here. There's several of them that, let's see, let me pull up the one. That's him praising Hitler, praising the Republican loss. We looked at that one. There's of course, Nick Fuentes and getting caught on his live stream, looking at, we'll just say, adult material, not of the heterosexual sort. So this guy is pitching the family values at Christian values, and yet he got busted last year, it was last May, on his live stream. And of course, it's not him doing that. The guy who isn't married, he's 28 years old, he's not married, he hates women, he's been ranting and raving about how he dislikes women for a very long time. It's not because of that. You know, it was, well, all that aside, he said that it was the Jews. He said that Mossad hacked his computer. That was his excuse for thinking he was off his live stream and then pulling up pornographic material of the non-heterosexual type. And yet these young people are following him. They listen to him hook, line, and sinker. They take in everything that he throws out there. They absolutely just obliterate it in their feeds. They love it. It's fantastic to them. And this is the young guy that Tucker Carlson needed to. He hopped on Trump's coattails, and then he kind of turned on Trump. Now he's hopped on Nick Fuentes' coattails and gives us absolute softball interview to the guy. And when people say, why in the world did you have this neo-Nazi, this Hitler-loving dude on your podcast and then not push back on any of that stuff? He says, well, I'm just having conversations. I just needed to know. I'm asking questions. But if it's Ted Cruz, who believes something that a lot of evangelicals believe, that's a big problem. And I'm not saying I agree with Ted Cruz's stance on that, by the way. Not to the nth degree. I'm not going to get into the theology of it. It's far too complicated. So this stuff is it's taking MAGA by storm, and there are certain people, again, you're going to say that this is me putting a Zionist up there as an example, but this is somebody who has worked very hard on the back end of the Trump Trump campaign of the MAGA movement. Laura Loomer, she gets a ton of pushback, but she was referring to Ian Carroll, who the guy cannot put a sentence together without mentioning Israel and how they are all the sources of all of our problems. You step on a Lego in the morning on the way to get a cup of coffee, and it's the Jews. That's Ian Carroll's shtick. And most of his feed is doing what good Candace Owens followers do. They just parrot whatever she says. I made a post about this on X today where I called them little imps. They are little imps who, all Candace has to do is say, here's my accusation with no evidence. Here's my accusation. And then her little parrots come out there and say, you know what? Candace dropped a bombshell. This is a bombshell from Candace. And then we'll just pull it up here so you can kind of see it. This is what I posted. because I'm not going to do it justice, but it's entirely true. Here, let's pull this up so you can see. This was my post. I said, insidious little imps. Here's how their commentary plays out. Candace, I'm accusing this person based on my hunch and no evidence. And then Candace, her little parrots come out and say, oh no, Candace, OS, Candace dropped a bombshell. Give us your personal information to prove your innocence. And then the victim of all of this, in this instance, it's the young man who's taken over a lot of the responsibilities at Turning Point USA. He says, what the heck is she talking about? And why do I want to give my phone records to a sociopath on the internet? And then her parrots say he wouldn't turn over his phone records to our queen. He's guilty. He did it. $7,000. Netanyahu, Jews, Jews, Jews. This is the loop that we are in on social media when it comes to Candace Owens, her acolytes, and people of her ilk. It's getting infuriating. It is getting exhausting. And more importantly, this movement that we were so excited about, that I was so excited about, this MAGA movement, it's being destroyed. And it's not that they're saying, how are we going to repair this? It's saying we are going to replace it. And we're going to replace it with people like Nick Fuentes, Ian Carroll. Isabella Moody is another one who made a post the other day talking about how she needed to use the N-word more. I mean, it's just this nonsense. And they think that is going to replace the MAGA movement, the one that they are so disappointed with at this point in time. And to that same point, when it comes to this recent election, and expect it next year, in that same one, Candace Owens is going to be parroting this same stuff she was parroting before the last election, which is, we're not going to vote. It reminded me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen 30 Rock. 30 Rock's a very funny sitcom, and it was on NBC. It was Tina Fey and Tracy Morgan. Is it? Yeah, Tracy Morgan. Is that his name? Anyway, very funny. And the guy who was running NBC did a campaign with Tracy Morgan telling black people not to go out and vote. This is what it reminded me of. She says, we're not voting until we learn the truth about who killed Charlie. Literally do not care how anybody feels about that, not lifting one finger. So in her defense of her great friend who was doing this whole turnout to the vote movement, she says, well, until we know the truth about who killed Charlie, like the guy who's standing trial right now, who they have DNA evidence of, who they have on video camera, who confessed to doing it, he confessed to his parents, then his parents convinced him to confess to the police. He confessed to the police. Not that person, it's got to be somebody else, because that guy in no way at this point is connected to the Jews. So she says, don't go vote. And people will listen. Millions of people, the number one podcast in the world right now is Candace Owens. And she's telling them, don't go vote. This MAGA is dead. Get over Donald Trump. Donald Trump is done. Listen to me instead. Listen to this new version of MAGA. And they're celebrating right along with the leftists, by the way. This loss, they're like, yeah, this is a win. Candace says it's a win against Zionism, but this is what they're cheering for.
Something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight. Oh, I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. Like they are in such a bad mood probably about the fact that Zoran just won and Prop 50 is gonna pass. Like, wow. God, I'm sorry. It just makes me feel good that my MAGA parents are probably upset right now.
When the day starts with Dick Cheney being dead, it ends with Mamdani winning. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so happy.
Well, they say that this is how they're going to come together, right? This is what a lot of folks are saying. We can find common ground with the left. And it's that we don't like Israel and that we don't like Donald Trump. Nick Fuentes says Donald Trump is done, and Candace Owens says Donald Trump is done, that they're sorry that they voted for him. Everybody needs to turn away from that movement. But here's my question, which I should have started however long I've been talking now, 20 minutes ago. What is the end game? What is the end game for these people? And to be honest, there is no end game for any of these individuals. None. They don't have an exit strategy. All they are doing is grifting off of this same mentality that the left has. Oh, I'm oppressed. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. This is why a lot of folks say that and myself included, that Candace never really left the left. She says she did. She rode that conservative wave, the novelty of her being in the conservative movement. She rode that all the way to prominence, and now she's turning on it, and she's focused back on identity politics. And when I first heard the term, the woke right, I thought, that's just so ridiculous. There is no woke right. I don't know what in the world they're talking about. But you really get into it, and you start seeing it more and more, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what this is. They are using identity politics. They are using all the same markers as the left. Accuse your enemy of what you yourself are doing. That we divided the MAGA movement. This movement that was growing in New York, we split it up along racial lines with people like Nick Fuentes. Prop him to the front of the algorithm. Let's juice him and say that he's some spokesman for modern masculinity and that he's going to be part of the new MAGA. You start getting people to question Donald Trump and and now you've got this fractured party. It was fragile to begin with, and now it is fractured. And the biggest names on the conservative movement that were conservative, they're not actually conservative, but the biggest names are the ones doing it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's another one, political opportunism at its finest, right here. Here's MTG. She went on The View, which is fascinating because I'm going to show you, we're going to go back in time a little bit with Marjorie Taylor Greene and where she used to stand on people like Nancy Pelosi, who now she greatly admires. So let's listen to this.
Speech, free speech. I want to say that I think that all of us right here are doing a great job of exchanging our ideas and things that we believe in, and we're doing it in a very professional and kind way. And in my opinion, I think we need more of that in America. I really do. And a lot of people wanted me to come on the show and say nasty things and all of us to fight. They wanted all of us to fight.
Thank you for not doing that.
Oh, my goodness, no.
My goodness, no.
It's like 5-1.
She could handle it, but she didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to do that today because I believe that people with powerful voices like myself and like you, and especially women to women, we need to pave a new path. This country, our beautiful country, our red, white, and blue flag is just being ripped to shreds, and I think it takes women of maturity to sew it back together. And I think that's...
Okay, so now Marjorie Taylor Greene has become a feminist of the third order. She is getting along with The View, and she loves Nancy Pelosi. Talk about here you go. We'll just watch it.
Pelosi is. I wish her well. That's how bad Nancy Pelosi is. I wish her well in her retirement. That's how bad Nancy Pelosi is. She's the most failed leader, the worst Speaker of the House in American history. I'm very impressed at her ability to get things done. I wish we could get things done for our party like Nancy Pelosi was able to deliver for her party. So I wish her well in her retirement.
It's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out of our government.
That it is destroying everyone that gets sucked into this great deception.
There you go. I think I don't know whose meme channel this was, but it was a good mashup. Good job. It doesn't behoove her to be aggressive against the Democrats anymore. Why? Because she's finding common ground with the Democrats. She's finding common ground with The View. These are people that we vehemently disagree with on at least most of us conservatives. We disagree with them morally, ethically, and I'm not saying we should keep the divide, but we've got to move them closer to us. When we start going back too far towards the middle with our morals and things like that, that's how we got what we got for the past 30 years. But for MTG, what this looks like is political opportunism. They say she wants to run for Senate, and allegedly Donald Trump said, no, we don't want you to do that. So now she's throwing a hissy fit. That's what a lot of folks are saying. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, I know. Trent Briggs. Candace is the #1 podcast in the world. Yep. Too bad that the media is controlled by the people that she hates so much and are holding her back. Goodness gracious. Now, Candace, speaking of which, she did go on a recent tirade where she was talking about all the things that are going on in the world. You know, she laid out feminism, pharmaceutical companies, pornography, all these things are because of the Jewish people. And the way that I look at this, again, I didn't intend on coming in here, just that's not the only thing that I want to talk about is where she stands on Israel and the people, the Jewish people. But that is the thing that MTG, Tucker, Candace, Ian Carroll, Nick Fuentes, a lot of the big voices in this new MAGA movement, this destructive MAGA movement, if you want to ask me. It's not MAGA. It's this destructive, I don't even know what you would call it, this new movement. That's what they are all circling their wagons around. But I did a little thought experiment where Candace said, it's all of these things are because of them. It's because of those, those they people. We'll just call them that. So I did a little thought experiment. I should have pulled this up. And I thought, okay, who are the big investors? We'll take one of the most nefarious things going on in the world right now. And by the way, this is what Candace does. This is exactly what she does. This is not true, but this is how she draws her lines. I'm going to give you a quick example. Let me pull all these up because I didn't pull them up beforehand. Let me make sure I've got them sized right because I have to walk through them step by step. Okay. It's very, very fascinating how she's able to tie this together. And if you say it with enough confidence, I shouldn't have told you that it was false. I should have just gone with the lie to show you how easy it is to deceive people. But nonetheless, let's pull that one up. I've just got a couple more here. Let me get them resized right. Sorry, I wasn't prepared on that one. I grabbed the screenshots, but didn't resize them. Okay, the most nefarious thing going on in this country right now is the pornography business. It is absolutely destroying relationships, families. It's the mental health of American young men. It's horribly destructive. And who are the funders of this? Well, I found this article here, and it says funders include Cornell University as one of the big funders of that nefarious industry. Well, that's crazy. We got to follow the money trail, right? We have to follow the money trail. Who are some of the biggest donors to Cornell University? Well, Chuck Feeney and Ratan Tata. Who in the world are Chuck Feeney and Ratan Tata? Well, Chuck Feeney was he's a Catholic Irish guy. Whoa, now we're tying some things together. An Irish Catholic guy is funding one of the biggest funders of Cornell University, which is a big investor in Pornhub, which is the biggest, good gracious, he's donated billions of dollars. So let's go ahead and draw an equivalency between Catholics and Pornhub. That's the kind of line that she draws. It's like, we could find a common link. We find a person with a Steinberg or a Goldberg as a last name who happens to be involved in something. Well, here's a Catholic guy. Same thing. It's 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon on any and every problem. And if you find a Jewish person, that's what she jumps on. But people like it because everybody needs an enemy. You got to have an enemy. The left had white people. If you were white, you were the enemy. You were particularly a white male. If you're a white male, you are the source of all the problems of people on the left. Never forget who your oppressor is. And on the woke right, it's Israel, obviously. So here's what I have deduced all this down to. There's a few steps that these folks have taken to drive this rift into MAGA. Step 1 is build influence off the back of Donald Trump and his very successful movement. The one that I was excited about, that you guys were probably excited about, that I was amped up. I was talking about it as soon as he got elected and all the things, all the executive orders and all the progress he was making. So that was step 1. Build your influence on the back of Donald Trump. Nick Fuentes did it. Tucker Carlson did it. Candace Owens did it. MTG did it. They all did it. They kissed the rings. Then you got to wait about 6 months and then you got to turn on him. That's step 2. Step 3 is you spend 100% of your time talking about the identity politics issues, just like the left and just like the people we were talking about. Spend all your time talking about that so you can build your base that you built off the back of Donald Trump and his MAGA movement, and then turn everybody into a frenzy against that common enemy. And just like COVID with the left, you got to create a problem inside the MAGA movement, and then step in and say that you are the only one that can fix that problem. That's what they are all doing. Tucker Carlson less than the others, I have to say that, but he's contributing. And then you need to take that whole movement and you need you got to say, what's the one thing we focus on? Why do we have all these problems? Well, it's because of $3.8 billion, which in reality is $900 million after they spend the money back in the military industrial complex, which again, I'm fine if we cut that off. I don't have a problem with that. But let's take that $3.8 billion, not the tens of billions that we sent to Ukraine. That's not the sticking point. Not the $1 billion, $1.5 billion that we send to other countries in Africa, that we send to Egypt, that we send to these other places. No. It doesn't have to do with any of that stuff. Just that one country. That's the one that we have to circle the wagons around. And then that $900 million is going to be the wedge. It's a piece of it. And then you've got to convince everybody. Use 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon to convince everybody that you can draw these ties here and that tie there, that all of your problems are around this one group of people. So that when you do that, you divert attention away from the elections and you get everybody to basically pay attention to that and nothing else. And then an election is lost because you spent all your time talking about that, not trying to prop up Winsome Sears in Virginia so that we could win, the governor's race there. No. You diverted around that stuff, and then you blame the people who were telling you to shut up for the problem, for the lost election. You say it's all your fault because, again, of Israel. And their end state seems to be, we will stop all of this. We'll stop all of it if you will just agree with us that the Nazis are okay, the guy that supports the Nazis, that he's okay, that the former Uber driver and pizza delivery guy, that he's okay, that the bipolar black lady in an arranged marriage, that she's okay, that the blonde lady from Georgia is okay, and the rich kid from Rhode Island is okay. Just believe everything they say, focus all your attention on them, and everything will be fine. And we'll shut up. And that with that comes, Stalin was great. So says Nick Fuentes. Hitler wasn't that bad, or as we played before, Hitler is awesome, as he said. That the Holocaust never happened. That identity politics is actually important. That immigration is good, which that was MTG. I played that clip of several shows ago. But she said, no, we can't do mass deportations, even though that was part of MAGA. We want mass deportations. No, because it's going to hurt the construction industry, which she happens to be in. And then you got to say that a socialist getting elected in New York is a win. Like, does this not seem nuts to anybody else? It just seems ludicrous to me. This is what they're asking us to accept. I can't accept that. I don't know about you guys. Hit me up down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Oh, so I have to play this one. This is again. I'm railing on Nick Fuentes tonight, and I do not feel bad about it. The Groypers can hit me up in the comment section. I couldn't care less. I could not care less. This guy is a
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was an admirer. But we don't need to go into that. I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened.
So this is the softball that everybody is angry about. Why? Well, because, I mean, when Ted Cruz came on, this was, look, it got heated, obviously. You guys have probably seen this.
Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to
We
be
don't
on
have
the
to get into
blessing
the
side
theology
of
of all
things.
that.
Those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis, but... So you're quoting a
fine
Bible phrase. You don't have context for it, and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
So this is the pushback that was not present in the Nick Fuentes interview. The guy who praises Hitler, the guy who said that he celebrates Stalin's birthday, that's what people were angry about. That's what I was angry about, and why I said, why are you pulling cover for the little Nazi kid, the 28-year-old unmarried Nazi kid who got busted watching X-rated material of a non-heterosexual nature during a live stream? Why is it you're not pushing back against that guy with the influence of all these young people, but you will against this? One common thread. It's fascinating. So that was 3 minutes of pushback. 3 minutes of Ted Cruz fighting for his life. He was obviously not prepared for it. Fine. Am I okay with him pushing back? 100%. But he doesn't seem to want to do that with the little weird kid. I'm trying to think of the most tactful way to say these things. Okay. And then, of course, there was the... I'm not going to play the one where Tucker attacked, Zionist Christians, because he has since apologized for that, but I think it was only because of the backlash. Oh, boy. All right. Let's see. By the way, I'm going to have to apologize to people on Rumble. For whatever reason, my Rumble stream absolutely failed me tonight. So I'm only on YouTube. We'll see. So hopefully I get some comments over on Rumble after the fact. I will go back in and answer them if you're watching this after the live stream. And while we've got some folks on, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. That way, you're notified every time I do a video. Tracy, look, I have been traveling the world. So Tracy asked, where have you been? I've been traveling the world for work. I've been in a lot of places and some 16-hour flights and all kinds of good stuff. So I had too much work and I just wasn't able to get it done. I haven't been able to stream in 2 weeks, but I'm back. I'm back. And we're hitting it hard. So thanks for missing me. I appreciate that. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Oh, here's, let's see. Doesn't understand marriage and relationships. Yeah. Oh. Let's see. I just lost my place here. All right. Well, here, you guys hit me up down in the comments. Let me know. I completely lost my place. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Was this the one? Doggone it. No, it's more Nick Fuentes stuff. What do you guys think? You guys watching, what do you think of this Nick Fuentes phenomenon? What do you think of Candace Owens being the #1 podcast in America? You know, kudos to her on her success, but again, this kind of the argument that a lot of people have is you're not for the First Amendment if people are being platformed. And I want to be very clear that that's not what I'm against. I think anybody and everybody should be platformed. In fact, somebody who I've gotten to know fairly well over the past year, I guess, was the Chicago Conservative. The Chicago Conservative had a big YouTube channel. He had 30,000 subscribers. And we disagreed on stuff. But you know what was interesting? He was letting me on his panels. And I don't think let me see if I can find his X account, because they completely deleted the guy's channel. And I want to do a whole video on why I think censorship is nonsense, why I think it's garbage. Now, let me put up the guy's X account. So let's see. Chicago conservative. I think it's Turn Shy Red is his account. And look, yeah, here it is. So let me pull this guy up here. So I follow him. He and I disagreed on a lot of stuff, on a whole lot of stuff. But we would get on the phone and we had multiple hour-long conversations, right? So this is the guy. He was big on getting big on YouTube. He was gaining a ton of traction. He was on, I forget the guy's name. He's a prominent lefty with like 1.5 million subscribers. And that didn't air until after his YouTube account was shut down. And it sucks because while I disagreed with him on a lot of things, we were two people of the right. We're both conservatives. We both have, similar desires for how this country is going to end up. But this censorship complex shut him down. And, I don't believe in deplatforming at all based on people's ideas. At all. Unless it's a call to violence, right? I mean, that's different because that's a legal thing. If there's a call to violence, obviously that has to be shut down because it's illegal. It's incitement. But when it comes to having controversial opinions, air it all. Let everybody hear everything. But I have the right to step in and push back against really, really, really bad ideas. And I have the right, as you do, when you go onto your social media accounts, you guys can, I'm sure you do it. You hop on there and you say, okay, if we follow this person's idea, if we follow Nick Fuentes all the way to his, well, that's a bad, I was going to say final solution, but all the way to the end of his ideology, what do we end up with? Is it a tenable solution to the problems of this world? And I say absolutely not. Under no circumstances are Nick Fuentes' ideas palatable to the average American. But when you follow it to the nth degree, it can only meet a violent end. It's going to meet a similar end to socialism or to the identity politics of the left, because he's an identity politician, he's focused on identity politics. He's all about white European, even though his last name is Fuentes. So he's entirely opposed to immigrants, despite being a third-generation immigrant. He's all focused on white people, even though he doesn't have, he's not a purely white person. It's like Latino of some sort and something else. The entire thing is nonsensical. So I believe they should all be platformed. And I hate when people are canceled. And I hated that the Chicago Conservative was canceled, even though he and I disagreed on quite a few things. Let's see. I think a lot of people only watch Candace to watch her have a breakdown. I think that, Tracy, I think this is a good point. I believe that there is the Howard Stern effect when it comes to Candace Owens. And I think there's the Howard Stern effect when it comes to Nick Fuentes. I have never and will never watch a full Nick Fuentes episode. I just won't do it because I don't need to fill my head with that nonsense, with that hateful, bigoted bile on a daily basis. But a lot of people are, because they feel disenfranchised because these people have told them that they are, just like the left does with all their other little groups. They tell people that they are disenfranchised. And they want to hear about the guy who's going to fight back against it, who's going to push back against it. Nick Fuentes does that. Candace Owens does that. So there's a certain cathartic effect from listening to someone like them, who in the back of their mind, it's not even that they were thinking about that. They're just thinking, my life is bad. My life is rough. For young men, I can't find a wife. The dating world is atrocious for young men. Who am I going to listen to? Well, I'm going to listen to the guy who talks bad about women and who says that I'm just sick of women and that getting married is nonsense or whatever. Says he's going to get married, but obviously, based on what I've shown you tonight, I doubt that he will be. Yeah, there's a cathartic effect to it. And I think that there's the Howard Stern effect. They're listening just for the shock jock value of it. But I don't believe that Candace Owens is being a shock jock. I believe that to the deepest depths of her core, she believes everything that she is saying. 100% of it. Yeah, that's a valid point also. It's going to, Kathleen, good point. It's going to go to her head and make her even bolder. I'm assuming that you're talking about her being the #1 podcast. Yeah, look, she's going to think that she's untouchable. This is what it is. And you see people in fame, watch Charlie Sheen, right? Charlie Sheen, he always had his issues, but once he got to the pinnacle of TV success, he had a breakdown and he was I'm not saying Candace is into drugs. I don't think she is, but there's a psychosis that happens. I'm sure there's very intelligent social scientists, psychologists, whatever out there that could explain all that. But you get to a certain pinnacle and you just you start thinking that you can't say something wrong because you have the algorithm feeding people that entirely agree with you. I like it when people disagree with me. I personally like it when people disagree with you. Trent Briggs, verified, comes on a lot of these podcasts. And I'm perfectly fine with him. He doesn't agree with me, if I remember correctly. You can correct me, Trent, if I'm wrong. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Some people are just trolls. But if you have, if you've got valid critiques of people, fine, let's talk about our ideas. Tracy said, from my own experience, I think she's bipolar and has postpartum depression or psychosis. I don't know. It's gotten bad. Now, she's come out and said that TPUSA, I don't know if you guys saw this, but TPUSA first off, it was run by, who was it? So it's been run by Israel. It's been run by, just the Zionists. I mean, despite what Charlie Kirk, we can go back and comb through the record of what Charlie Kirk believed. He was not opposed to Israel, obviously. Was he questioning them? Yes. Anyway, so it's been run by them. It's been run by, she's listed several people, but now it's the Mormons. So she settled on, it's infiltrated by Mormons. It's all run by Mormons, and they're all complicit. I mean, it's just this baseless conspiracy after baseless conspiracy. Do I think there's probably Mormons in TPUSA? Yeah, probably. They're very involved in Christian movements. Now, I don't believe they're Christian in the purest sense, but nonetheless, do I think that there's some involved in it? Yeah, sure. Let's see. Charlie Kirk on. I think it's valid to say that these folks that are groypers, which again are the Nick Fuentes types, that's his little militia of incels or whatever they are. This is his take on groypers. Check this out.
My young adult sons, he expressed some anti-Semitic takes on history that maybe Hitler's motives for wanting to be rid of the Jews weren't so wrong, even if how he went about it was evil. And so I'd like to know where he's getting these lies. I've heard a little bit about the groypers from Not the Bee. I'd never heard that term before. So my question to you is this. Do you know some of the names of the influencers who are taking advantage of the conservative youth movement? I want to read materials.
Yeah, so thank you. So first of all, I do know the names. I'm not going to repeat them because that only makes them and their little irrelevant circle bigger.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to meet you. I thought you were a Fed. I
thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know well.
So if you want to know where Charlie Kirk stood on Nick Fuentes and the groypers, but look, they're becoming mainstream. It's a new thing that we have to deal with. So not only are we getting it from the left, now we're getting it from inside of our own party. And how about we look, do I think there's common ground with people like Tucker on how to fix the one sticking point that they have, which is our support of Israel, us supporting Israel with, I guess it's the $900 million that we're sending them. Yes, it's $3.8 billion, but there's, again, for those that have just come on, they're sending 75% of it back in the military-industrial complex. Should we stop that? Should we cut it in half and send them the same thing that we're sending to like Sudan? I mean, maybe. Should we stop all of it? Maybe. Would I be, horribly upset if we did? Maybe with the Sudan, because $1 billion isn't a whole lot for some Christians that are being massacred down in the Sudan. If you guys haven't seen that. In fact, I could play a video here real quick. I don't think this is the, well, yeah, here you go. This one, was this one in Sudan? Yeah, this is the one down in Sudan. So if you want to see what's going on down there, do I think it's okay for us to maybe send a little bit of money there? There you go. I'm going to mute them because I hate listening to that nonsense. Yeah, you can see all the people in the background there. I probably should have blurred that. YouTube might cancel me. It's small. Maybe you won't see it. But that's the type of stuff they're dealing with in Sudan. You know, these are the things, that, by the way, that the Nick Fuenteses of the world, you know, they're not really bringing that up all that often. Candace Owens, I listen to a lot of her stuff. I do not watch her show all the way through. So if she said it, feel free to hit me up in the comments and let me know. Is she ranting and raving about that, about what's going on down in the Sudan? Or what's going on down in Nigeria? 10,000, I believe, is the number now this year in Nigeria that have been Christians that have been killed. Doesn't seem to be bothering people all that much. Or if it is, they're certainly not talking about it because the algorithm just doesn't act too kindly with it. Yeah, Nigeria too. I think that's what I said. Tracy, you can correct me. I think I said that. But yeah, you're right. In Nigeria, in Sudan, I mean, we've seen what happened in the Nagorno-Karabakh over the years. You know, Armenians being pushed out of their land. I mean, this is a problem. Christians are the most, you know, there's more violent action against Christians. They're the most oppressed people on the planet right now. But for Christians out there, a lot of Christians, they don't seem to want to talk about it. I try to bring it up every chance I get. But thousands of them being, so I was watching videos. Look, guys, you can go on X and you can find some pretty horrific stuff. But I found videos of people being buried alive. Like they're making them dig graves and they're burying them. But no, let's focus on other things in their mind. It's kind of infuriating. I don't know about you guys. All right, let's get some more comments here. What have we got? Yeah, so Tracy, I would say on that last comment that you made there, that they see it as they are. This is the dilemma. So this is what Tracy said. That's because it isn't Jews who are slaughtering people. There are a lot of folks out there. This is the, you know, the woke right, the really staunchly anti-Israel right, is saying that yes, they are. And do I think that there were a lot of innocent people that were killed in Gaza? Yep. That's just the unfortunate fact. Yes, it is. Do I think that Israel was taking the proper steps to try and mitigate that? Yes. Do I think that there were probably some IDF people who acted inappropriately and did the wrong thing? Yes. And I know this because I spent 21 years in the military. Not all active duty. Only half of that was active duty. But I did multiple deployments. I know what it's like to fight in that type of environment, and it is horribly difficult. In our 20-year war, there were estimates of hundreds of thousands up to upwards of 1 million people between Iraq and Afghanistan in both of our conflicts who lost their lives. And we talk about, you know, people like Dave Smith will come out and talk about the morality of us going to war, but they wouldn't dare be seen attacking U.S. service members. However, when it's Israel, they will, even though the civilian to combatant ratios are lower than any modern conflict in, I think in history, if I'm not entirely mistaken. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. But yeah, it's unfortunate when you're in densely populated urban environments, that is going to happen no matter how many measures you take not to let it happen. Penny said Rogan is still number one. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. This one was, and I'm not saying you're wrong, Penny. I love Rogan, by the way. Rogan is fantastic. Let's see. This is the one that I saw. Let me find it. Candace Owens, number one podcast. And maybe it was on one platform. That could have been what it was. Let's see. We're still moving through the top 10 all year, but I woke up this morning to news from Proscribe that we're the number one podcast in the world. And this one was, so it came from Podscribe. And I'll pull this up just to kind of, I guess, highlight what I saw that she had hit number one. And the thing is, will it be consistent, right? Is she going to be consistently at the top of the podcast charts? No, I certainly don't think so. I mean, she's not going to hold that. Joe Rogan, he has been consistently towards the top, and that's why he gets the $200 million contracts and all of that, because he's Joe Rogan. He's the GOAT when it comes to podcasts. The guy is the absolute GOAT. And he's doing consistently moderate content. That's the ebbs and flows of our contentious political podcasting, is that there will be peaks and there's valleys, and there's very steep peaks and there's very big valleys, because the stuff we're talking about changes with popularity. If Joe Rogan's talking about aliens building the pyramids, or he's talking about whether or not the moon landing is real, or he's talking about MMA, he's just so consistent with what he's generating that I think he's going to stay towards, he'll stay towards the top, and he'll be the GOAT from this day forward. But intermittently, people like Candace will creep to the top. Okay. Okay, dude. That's all I got. Venus and T. I just got dude. What you got? Give me questions, gripes, complaints, whatever you got. I'm looking for folks in the chat here. I need to get the scrolling chat over to the side of my video. Did you watch Eric Kirk tonight on the Charlie Kirk show? No, I did not. You confused me with your first one. You said, dude. And I was like, yeah, what? Hit me up with it. Did you watch Eric Kirk tonight on the Charlie Kirk show? No. No, I didn't see that, but I will go back and watch it tonight. And I'll include some of that content over on my live stream tomorrow. I want to talk more about the Chicago Conservative getting canceled. I think that's, that sort of thing is problematic, but we've got to talk about, let's see. There we go. I'll check it out. Thanks for letting me know about it. I appreciate it. It was an accident. Okay, I got you. So Kathleen says that Candace announces her number one spot, so if she believes it, no one will change her mind. That is true. You got that right. And she'll run with that one. Oh, we're the number one podcast. We're the number one podcast, even after she drops back down to number 20. Oh, so Erica did well. That's good. These attacks on Erica are driving me bonkers. Especially from Candace, she has been, public enemy number one when it comes to her friend, Erica, and Charlie. She's been attacking her like crazy. But for everybody out there that's watching, check out Erica on the Charlie Kirk show. I saw parts of her interview with Jesse Waters. And look, this is the thing. People are lambasting her because she is either crying too much, or not that she's crying too much, that she's not crying enough. They're saying that she's putting tears in her eyes, that she's fake, that this was all arranged marriage. And by the way, I think it's interesting that I don't think Candace has, but Candace Owens acolytes and her little, loyal followers have been saying, oh, this is all arranged marriage and it's all fake. And I wanted to show you guys the video of Candace's husband. I think I've played it before on here, but Candace's husband got on and said, I met her once. There was no romantic attraction, and yet they wound up getting married 17 days later. And it's like this. It's like the guy's running an op on that lady. Like, it's really, really crazy. Really crazy. But Heart Love, did you see Ye apologize to a Jewish rabbi for his anti-Semitic comments? Candace is probably melting right now. Yeah, I know, because she was running to Kanye after, during the Charlie Kirk memorial ceremony. She says, "Oh, I'm just going to go listen to Ye," and like a good friend, not say I'm going to take a moment of silence and honor my friend, but I'm going to go to listen to Ye, I guess at a concert or something. But I saw a clip of that. But yeah, I bet she's absolutely going nuts. Yes. Okay. Let me get back to my point. Thank you, Tracy. You got me back on track there. So Erica is very poised. She is a strong woman grounded in Christ. Yes. And the people that are talking about the, the way that she's responded, they've never been in leadership positions, first off. I can guarantee you that they have. I haven't been in huge leadership positions. I was at lower level company leadership positions. I had 178 soldiers at one point. That's the most I've ever led at any given time. And you had the way you present yourself in front of those individuals that you are leading. It matters. It impacts the climate of your organization, how you talk to people, how you deal with stressful situations, how you deal with difficulty. Now, we don't know how Erica Kirk acted when she got home and she was out of the spotlight, but she was trying to put on a brave face. She was, I believe she handled it incredibly well, but people say, I don't really like it. It doesn't seem right to me, because she wasn't just a blubbering mess all the time, and that's what they wanted. So yeah, the criticism of her has been ridiculous. She has been poised. She has stepped into a very difficult situation, and I think she's handled it very, very well. And I guarantee you, behind closed doors, she was bawling and boohooing. I can only imagine what she was going through. She's got young kids, too, that she has to be a strong mother for. Yes, I agree. There you go. There you go. I think it's becoming more and more apparent. Now, there's people who say that she was jealous, that Candace Owens was jealous. I don't have any facts to back that up. I'm just saying people have, a lot of the folks in, I guess you would say, in my camp who have really swerved away from Candace Owens because of the way she's handled all of this. They're saying she was jealous and all this. I don't know if that's true or not. That's, but the way she's handled it has certainly been more of a vengeful approach than it has been one of condolences and respect. She believes that smearing the organization that Charlie Kirk spent his, entire adult life building, that maybe that's the best way to honor him. That's the way that she's kind of approached this. And I think it's repugnant, to be perfectly honest. Let's see. If we've got folks on here, thanks for the chats, by the way, guys. I appreciate it. It's so good to be back. After 2 weeks off, I thought I was going nuts. And then, as I was getting ready for this, I feel completely... I've probably got 100 additional notes and links in here, and I'm going to eventually do a members-only section. Once I get enough subscribers and view hours and all that good stuff, I'm going to have a members-only section, and I'm going to dump all of my notes into that members-only section. I'm growing. I'm getting to that point. I'll probably put it on Patreon or behind something like that just to help me grow the channel. Or I'll do a members-only something on YouTube. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I want to be able to pass all of this stuff along because, I try to stick to an hour, and I've gone over tonight because you guys are sending me some love my way here in the chat. Under her eyelashes. Yeah. So I have so many links. I come into some of these shows, and there's stuff based on faith and science and all kinds of stuff, most of which I don't get to. It's just things that I find interesting, and you guys might as well. So I'm getting to the point where I can start sharing that with all you great supporters that are behind the scenes that are helping me out, popping on here every time I do a live stream. Okay. You said, hey, I guess, you said her eyes look puffy under her eyelashes. I thought you were saying my eyes look puffy. They could. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. All right, guys. I'm going to call it quits. I'm at 1 hour. Unless you guys have any other questions, thoughts, comments. Let's see. Let me see if I missed any comments here. George's family. Whoa. Yeah. Let me see if I can play that video. Before I go, I kind of feel like I need to play that one. It was weird. Guys, it was weird. George, by the way, for all you folks out there, thank you for that comment, Kathleen. Let's see. Yeah, George is Candace's husband. So let me see if I can find the video. Folks might find this interesting. Let's see. Where did I take that one? Let me remove that one. Let's pull it down. Where was it? Tucker. There's Tucker supporting Maduro. Golly, so many videos. I know I put it in here. Oh, here we go. I knew I was going to find it eventually. It's only 2 minutes, so let's watch it real quick. Strange.
Woman to any woman that I meet her. Like this is a different woman to any woman that I meet her. So she was giving a speech in London, and she was giving a speech at the Royal Automobile Club, which is a club in Pall Mall in London. And I was in the audience. We met, we shook hands, and I just knew kind of when I met her, I was like, this is a woman who she just commanded a power. It was very difficult to describe. Nothing romantic was said, you know, between that day and the day that we got engaged. Nothing romantic was said at all. You know, there was no overtures. Like we didn't go for dinner. Like we didn't take it. Nothing.
Send her flowers.
No, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Exactly. And so I was very clear about that because it was almost like getting to know oneself in some ways. It was kind of a very strange experience. You know, it was like I saw myself in her, and in doing so, and that sounds sort of, well, I fell in love with myself. No, I didn't fall in love with her. I fell in love with a woman who gave so much of myself back to me, you know, and I kind of, I was very willing to let myself fade and give glory to her. You know, that's how I view our marriage in many ways. Like I'm very happy to take a secondary position to give glory to her. You know?
I don't know, guys. Hey, Junior. It's like, come on. From the time they met to the time they got engaged, which was like whatever it was, 17, 18 days, there was nothing romantic ever said, ever done. I mean, I don't know. The guy sounds like, if you listen to the whole interview, it's very nebulous and strange. And in my opinion, it sounded like the guy was running an op of some kind. I mean, like it was a purely, fabricated. I mean, it's just weird. Yeah, that's right. I fell in love with myself. And yeah, it's so weird. See, never trust a guy that smokes a cigar. Come on. I haven't smoked a cigar in a long time, but I'm not entirely opposed to smoking a good stogie every now and then. Simp alert. Oh, Junior, you said, let's see, didn't show that I was going live. Shadow ban alert. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It is what it is. It wouldn't surprise me. I've had several videos like that over the years. I'll post and it's nothing. They used to just cut off my engagement. They would start showing it to a lot of people and I get like a 25, 30% click-through rate. And then added long view durations. And then all of a sudden, no more impressions. It just stops. It's really weird. Let's see. His family didn't attend the wedding either. Whoa. I didn't know this. His family didn't attend the wedding either. They said he went into a rebellious phase and then announced their marriage. Very weird. I have to ask, Kelly, are you in the UK? Is that where you're located? Let's see. Junior, I'm not putting that one up. That's aggressive, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, goodness. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing around her. I mean, knowing a guy 2 weeks and then getting married. I mean, people can, I will say, I guess in her defense, some people they have those shotgun weddings, I guess, or that's not really a shotgun wedding, but they have those impromptu weddings. They turn love at first sight and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So your cousins live there. Okay. Yeah. UK is weird. UK's fallen is what it is. Oh, wow. George Santos just posted about MTG wanting to run. Oh, MTG says she's going to run in 2028. Anyway. Okay. Any more comments? Let's see that I want to get to. She sends me clips from the videos. Okay. Yep. You know, there's some, let's see. So you said your cousin sends the clips from the videos. Who are the guys? Trigonometry. Are they in the UK? I think Trigonometry's in the UK. I really enjoy their podcast. They get some very interesting people, and I think they are wildly underrated interviewers. But there are some decent podcasts over in the UK. There definitely are. Let's see. Pied Piper and her job is to weaken Republicans. Yes. Yeah. Junior, I know you've been watching me for a long time, man. If you go back and watch some of the stuff that we talked about early on in the show, I hate that you missed the first part of it. But I think this is I don't know if it's a coordinated effort, but let's see. Boop, boop. Yeah, I don't know if it's a coordinated effort, but they are definitely ripping apart the MAGA movement, and it's so depressing. It is, because you guys know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, I came into the start of this presidency and I was amped up for the victories. It was nice to be able to talk about the good stuff, and I thought that all the pushback would be pretty consistently from the left. I never in my wildest dreams envisioned what we're going through over here on the right in the conservative movement. I never in my wildest dreams imagined that. Let's see. Yeah, Trigonometry, they are good. Yeah, Heartland, I thought they were in Texas. Yeah, I don't know if that's where they live right now. I have no idea where Candace Owens lives. I have no clue. Okay, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to start prepping my show for tomorrow. Be sure, if you're a new person here, I would love to see you hit that like button. But guys, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to have some great stuff to talk about. I've got, again, 2/3 of my list that I didn't actually get to tonight. It would have delved me into another 2-hour conversation. So, all right, tomorrow night, guys, I appreciate it. Love you guys. I appreciate the support. Have a great American, what is this? Thursday night. All right, guys, see you later.